everybody. Um, Thank you to all of you who have been liking the channel, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we are back to one of my favorite shows. Okay, now I don't always necessarily review this, but Love During Lockup is a little bit different because it's only an hour. But the reason why this is my show is because as a teacher on a Friday, it is hard for me to ever go out. Like I'm exhausted. I mean, it's the summer, but like I can actually like, it's one of the one shows that I can just enjoy and just chill or whatever. But Love During Lockup, I miss it. I feel like it's been gone for like 2 months. You know, it's always like a quick turnaround. All right, this is a review of season 4, episode 42. Okay, Love During Lockup, jail talk. Okay, so we're gonna start with Jade and Chris. This this is headed for destruction. Okay, Jade, you and all your sisters with the J names, there was a lot going on, so we're just gonna dive it right in. All right, so she married this guy named Chris in prison. Okay, they're getting ready for a party. I thought I thought she was gonna tell us that he's coming home or whatever. Even though the title of the show was Love During Lockup. And apparently, I just thought maybe he was on his way there. But he's not. It's her sister's 30th birthday. But he's on the phone as if he's going to show up. Anyway, she met him on a prison pen pal page. First of all, I didn't even know people still use the term pen pal. Okay? Help us, Lord. All right, so haven't we been watching this for years? Okay? Because this show has had spin-off on spin-off on spin-off. Okay? And I'm just like, we know how this always goes. She got married 7 months after meeting him in prison in 2018. I said, girl, first of all, any man want to get married 6, 7 months. I don't care what people say. Yes, a man can know when he meets you or whatever, whether you're going to be his wife or not. I think anything underneath a year for an engagement is dangerous because we know men do not commit automatically like that, and I think men like that are typically controlling and abusive and want to make sure they bring you in because women like that kind of thing at first, and then it gets crazy, as we saw just in episode 1. So anyway, her mom is not here for it. Her mom is eye rolling or whatever, but you can tell her mother's also one of those people that are kind of like, well, my daughter's grown, I'm not gonna get in all her business or whatever. Um, it's my Beyonce here, y'all, for the concert. I know I keep playing with it. I'm getting used to it on my head. Okay. Anyway, so her mom's not here for it, but she doesn't. I guess really don't have to go in as hard because he might as well just be a make believe character in their life because he's just in jail. Hey, what the fuck? So her sisters came to her house for the party. And she said that, so she starts telling us about Chris. She was like, he's Native American, and his tribe owns a casino, and he gets about $10,000 to $12,000 a month, and then puts into a joint account. I was like, this is awfully good money for somebody who ended up in prison. Are you sure this is legit money? But okay, girl. So her sisters are asking her, okay, in a contrived scene, nevertheless, but she was like, they were like, so why did he go to jail for stealing? She was like, well, he was in the math, and that's why he stole. The kind of things that, make people out of their mind or whatever. And he got 32 years. She was like, that's a harsh sentence. And I was like, God damn, 32 years? For meth? Drugs are bad, okay? But like, 32 years. Then we start, getting all the other information. He is apparently a consistent repeat offender. He's already been in prison 7 times. This Joker is only like 39 years old. I said, Lord, this is so fake. And the reason why I said it was so fake is because she's talking to her sisters. And I'm thinking to myself, you mean you just sat up here and talked about how close you and your sisters are. And they didn't know he was going to be serving 32 years in prison. He only has to serve a portion of it. They didn't know this. They didn't know he had been to prison 7 times. They didn't know. Stop. Okay, stop. Y'all knew this shit. And he's a repeat offender. And we already know how this is going to go. If they start filming Life After Lockup, people have been locked up that long, cannot keep it together, cannot be faithful, so on and so forth. She has her sister's party, whatever, she throws it. Okay, it's a nice house, whatever. Um, she has a cutout of her husband in his prison outfit at the pool. These bitches be crazy. She reminds me of that Italian chick from the other season. Remember the one that was like obsessed with the guy from high school? I can't. Like, I just don't understand why you would spend money on that. And your family don't even like him. Why are you fucking with your sister? Just let Jessica, whatever her name was, have her party. Anyway, so Jade also decided she was going to get a tattoo of Chris's name on her ass. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should do with their bodies, but I am here to reel it back in. And I know some people are like, oh, people just need to live and let live. Get the fuck out of here. Everything does not need a goddamn excuse. And that's why society is out of fucking control now. Because we do not, as much as we talk about boundaries in this society, we don't have none. Because this was a great example. So she got a tattoo on her ass cheek. I would be embarrassed to show anybody, and not just because he's in prison, but because it's on my fucking ass cheek, okay? She was not at a bachelorette party. It wasn't like she was drunk in some like club and went and see these people again. This hoe, I am sorry. I would have never disrespected my father like that. Like, she literally pulled up her entire skirt, shakes her ass cheek, at her father. I'm like, is this her? What the fuck is he a stepfather? Is this her? Who is he a friend? Like I was like, huh? I'm sorry, that shit was so out of order. And it's starting to make sense why you would be attracted to a person like Chris. Okay. Then he starts calling. No one has to having a party, telling her she needs to pick up this, that, and the other. He starts complaining about how she doesn't pick up the phone quick enough. And he was like, and you're drinking. Well, drinking is gonna be a problem. You can't pick up my phone calls. And mind you, he's yelling at her through the phone. Let me tell you what you're not gonna do. What you're not gonna do is be in jail and think you gonna be boss talking me like that. And I don't even know you outside the jail. That's what the fuck we ain't finna do. Okay? I don't give a shit about no money you sent my way. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you over and over again. Okay. And I'm sorry, but he is given all kinds of controlling and abusive teeth. Okay? I see it coming. So he keeps calling, and they ask her mother, like in that like little confessional she's by herself, if she thinks Jade and Chris are in a toxic relationship. And she just starts crying. I felt bad because a mother can foresee some things, and you don't know what kind of life the mother had, before she had kids, before she had a family, and nobody wants to see their daughter going down that path. But anybody shaking their ass cheek in front of their father, I'm sorry, something went awry with that one. Anyway, so then we started getting more about Chris, and he was like, well, my mother was an exotic dancer, she was a stripper, and had multiple boyfriends, and even though they used her, she used them, so I know how women can be manipulative. Oh. And that shit irked my soul. First of all, every woman is not your mother. Two, my problem with that statement alone is that men are not anything like women. They can't let that shit go from their childhood. But women are expected to trust men. When they say they have trust issues, well, I'm not your father, this and the other. Especially in the black community. The way we demean black women who have for generations been without fathers and how that has developed. I mean, how black women have been forced to figure it out and been asked that they somehow forget all their childhood traumas and abandonment and shit. But men get this pass, but I can't trust women because of this thing that my mother used to do. If your mother was a stripper, I guarantee you, she did it because she had to. And you're Native American, and those reservations are often very, very deprived. Okay? So while you're in prison, what you need to do is heal yourself and just get the fuck on. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it. 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 It's dangerous. Jade, cut him off. Cut him off. So then this crazy SOB starts calling all her sister's phones at the party because she's not picking up. First of all, why did you give him your sister's number? I don't care if it's technically their brother-in-law. They have never met this man. Hell, they trying to act like they didn't know he had been locked up 7 times. Why? Why? Chris, I know you are brought in jail. Pick up a book. Take a page out of Malcolm X's life story. Just do something with yourself, because you ain't gonna be shit when this is over. And I don't believe it. This tribal casino bit is like making me go, especially since your mother was an exotic bitch. Anyway. All right. So moving on to Renika and Asante, whatever it is. All right. Was I the only one when we got introduced to Renika and she walked in that hair salon? I thought Renika's friend met her and said, "Hey, N word," but she was calling her Nika, like for sure. I said, I was gonna be pissed off. How dare we TV let them say that word and not blot it out? But but I think that's what she was calling her. Was that the only one? Anyway, so she is an entrepreneur. She has an eyelash vending machine. Okay, and I have seen those. Okay, let me tell y'all something. I told y'all about my movers last video. They came to pick my stuff up last Thursday from Baltimore because I moved back to New York. Do you know when my shit got here? Today. And not only did I have to call these people multiple times, had attitudes, hung up the phone, like crazy shit. Then these motherfuckers had nerve to move my shit in with an attitude. Fuck you. And now I'm gonna not tip you with a smile. Speaking of motherfuckers. Anyway, but speaking of Baltimore, I saw an eyelash vending machine in the mall, but you know who owned it? Rashida from Love and Hip Hop. And I was just like, okay, but it was full of putting in eyelashes, so I imagine a lot of people went into it. Anyway, so she has a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old daughter. Let me tell y'all something. I imagine it is difficult because women have said it over and over again to be a single mother. But I get particularly concerned when there are young girls, and I don't give a shit, 13 and 15, teenagers or not, they're still young girls. When a mother takes their daughters into a relationship that's already sketchy because this man's in prison, you don't know him, and you are essentially putting your 13 and 15-year-olds in danger by preparing to take care of him, take your kids to another state and city, uproot them from their family, their school, everything to accommodate this one individual. Okay, I'm sorry, the stepfather, the boyfriend at home, molesting the children, and we would all hope and love that, and hope that's not the case. But I'm just saying there's been too many cautionary tales, and I just don't know what people are thinking. Okay, so Renika also, in addition to being an eyelash vendor, she is a rapper. Okay, she made a video. And you know what I said then? I said, you know what? Even if this relationship don't fucking work out, Renika, I see you. I see you gonna get something out of this. You look like people gonna look me up on YouTube. People gonna look me up on TikTok. You gonna get you some followers, and I ain't mad. So her friend is asking her in his hair salon, right, as she's doing the vending machines or whatever. She was like, "What do you mean you're going to Atlanta?" She was asking all the right questions, and then people. I know it is having me like, especially in small hair salons anyway, but them faces that woman was making with them rollers in her head, listening to every part of the conversation, like, I know you are not going to Atlanta to take care of this man. She was like, well, I sent him I've already been taking care of him like $2,000, $2,500 a month. I said, I never understand on these shows how I can work hard as a teacher. I do not have credit lines that extend to where I would just have $2,500 hanging around to give somebody in jail to do as they please with. Like, I just want to know where these people get all this money to do this fuck shit. So anyway, her friend that was the beautician or whatever was giving her some real advice. She was like, well, he's there for me mentally. We haven't even had sex and this and the other. She said, of course he's there for you. He's in prison. He don't have nothing else to do but be there for you. And she's taking care of this man. And she's like, well, I have to, like, in 4 months, like, he's going to need me. And this, mind you, oh boy, he's in jail for robbery. You getting robbed on purpose. These people, God help me. I just want explanations. All right. And let me tell you something. I'm an Atlanta girl. When I saw him, Asante, I'm a daughter of the state, and I know maybe I'm the only one thinking this, and I don't care because I know I'm right. He is giving, not straight, and probably has a boyfriend or two in prison and out of prison. I'm sorry that I trust that intuition, but this it's just me. So she decided she's gonna relocate to Atlanta from Louisville, Kentucky. She is going to just uproot. Now I think she is moving there also because she wants to be a rapper. Even though ATL is not the place for that anymore. Okay, we've seen it all, heard it all, done it all. But when she said, I'm gonna tell you what got me. When she said she was moving from her mom's house in Louisville, Kentucky, to her own place in Atlanta, and she's gonna find a job, I said, wait a minute. First of all, I thought your job was these vending machines. Okay, and if you're an owner of a business, you don't have to. That your income doesn't have to change for these vending machines. Okay. Two, then it occurred to me how she has all this extra money to send him because bitch, you living with your mama. You should have saved some money. But if you have like five vending machines and you make $20,000 a year off each one, $80,000 to $100,000 is plenty of money. Especially for Louisville, Kentucky. It's enough to have a good life. It's enough to have a decent life, and it's enough for you to be living on your own. Girl, bye. Anyway, so I'll give it to her though. At least she getting some attention for her rap career that she thinks is gonna pop off. So we get her when she meets up with her father to tell him about Asante. Now she told her father, she's telling her about this the day before she's moving, okay, to Atlanta. With we don't know anything. Mind you, she's a 13 or 15-year-old. You do know it's illegal for them not to be in school. I hope you got figured out when this is the summertime. Okay, anyway. So her father has been gone for a long time. Apparently, he was in prison too. So she tells him, look, she's going to be with her boyfriend. He's like, you want to be with a convict? She was like, Daddy, you a convict too. Uh, but he was in prison for 18 years for drug trafficking. And and that that was when they were handing out those drug sentences like candy, especially to black people. So he was like, look, I'm trying to be a better father and grandfather, and you just gonna get up and move. And you know what? I really appreciated that scene, and I appreciated him being reflective enough about the fact that he did have a problem with her dating. He was like, "Look, I know what people say in jail to other people to get them to, do these kinds of things. He doesn't want it to happen to his daughter." I appreciated that, but I also appreciated the fact that he made the connection immediately and took full responsibility when he said, I really hope that this isn't influencing your decisions because I was away for so long and I feel terrible about that and I'm trying to improve it. I know I can't fix that time. I was out of my children's life. He didn't blame Renika, and she, even though she started crying and was upset, he didn't go like, well, you should see me as, he didn't do that. He didn't blame her. He didn't start gaslighting her like a lot of fathers do when they messed up, even if they didn't go to prison, okay? Like, I mean, he took full responsibility. He was like, and I hope that's not influencing your choice, but I really want you to think about this. And he basically, apologized to her and said he hoped, her being, like, a kid coming to visit him in prison just hasn't affected her decision in terms of who she's dating. But he caught that shit quick. And I feel like if you can identify the root of the problem, you can certainly fix it, and I appreciate that. And no, that man's not perfect, but he's also not the only one saying to you, this is a bad idea. Okay? This is a bad idea because your friend in a hair salon while you was doing your vending machine eyelashes was giving you the same advice. Okay? Stay your dumb ass in Louisville. Do not uproot yourself. Anyway, so let me get Brittany and Carrot. Now, Brittany, I'm going to assume, is half black. Only because she was talking like she was a black person. She seemed to easily engage with black people. And it didn't occur to her to be like, yeah, I'm the white girl. You know, people do that. So I was like, she's just very yellow. Okay, and that's coming from me. Then she's very yellow. Okay, but she might be biracial, but like, I mean black, nevertheless. Okay, so first of all, I was so confused when her boyfriend asked her if her baby hairs were still on fleek, and I said, who's still using that? That shit lasted 10 seconds. All right, anyway, so she met him while she was in prison too. I was like, that's strange. Men and women in prison are usually separated. She's only 22, and I was like, what you need to go to prison? Not jail, prison. So she said she was a hairdresser in prison. Okay. She said her parents sent her every kind of flat iron and hair stuff. She said so she was prison rich, and I was thinking to myself, you have parents that could send you all this stuff while you were in jail. Make sure you had that. This doesn't seem like you came from a bad background. What did you do to fuck up? Okay, so she went to prison when she was like 18 because she helped her boyfriend set up a robbery. Now that's stupid. It's stupid. And when I was 18, I would have known that was stupid. But, but she was still young. She's still young now. All right. And so anyway, she's in cosmetology school. Okay, so she's getting her life together, whatever. But did y'all catch the looks on people's faces in the cosmetology school when her instructor's talking to her, and she's in there just telling all her business? That's what made me think she was half white and half black, because she could like merge in conversation with black people, but like the way she was like just kind of acting like she don't know what the outcome is gonna be when you tell your business like that in the hair salon, I just didn't understand it. All right. And she just kept talking. I was like, bitch, shut up. You just tell all your business. So she said her prison boyfriend has motivated her. Like, she wouldn't even be in school if this is the case. And I was like, but he's still in prison. And I was just like, did they meet each other on the website? I got real curious. So apparently, they were walking in jumpsuits and saw each other. And he saw how pretty she was or whatever. And everybody kept saying, oh, you're so pretty. I didn't think she was that pretty. I mean, I didn't think she was ugly, but I was like, okay. Anyway, but then she started explaining that her boyfriend is transgender. He was born female and is becoming a male, taking hormones or whatever. And she was like, well, he's more man than any man I've ever been with. And I was like, well, you're only 22, but okay, girl. So, then they talked to, what's his name? I forgot. Carrie, I think. Okay. And he said, knew he was gay when he was 16, came out, but the father was against it or whatever. You could not have told me that was not a natural born man. Plot twist. But yeah, she just talks too much. I'm like, girl, you still in cosmetology school. Your instructor is doing hair, and you are telling her about your prison bag. Girl, pay attention. What? So, then she's talking to her instructor about how they had sex in prison. And that's when they were able to teach her. Because they kept saying, how does a man see a woman in prison? That doesn't work like that. That's part of the punishment. And then she's talking about how he had all these sugar mamas. And she was like, you don't think he's still talking to those sugar mamas? She was like, I don't care. Because if they giving him money, they giving me money. I said, this is some ghetto red stuff. Okay, girl. Okay, we'll see how this works out. All right, so then we get Letitia. Letitia. Letitia, I don't know how you pronounce it, but NP. Letitia, I got a series of things I have to say about you. First of all, Letitia has 3 daughters. Okay, she's a business owner. That's what she tells us. And the man she is seeing in prison, who she also happens to be married to, is locked up for drug distribution. Now, mind you, she has 3 daughters, none of whom are his children. Once again, the same thing I said earlier about Renika. Please stop having these young girls around men y'all don't know. Period. Especially when they're not the father. So she starts saying how she's been looking for love her whole life. The men have either been assholes or leeches. And I'm like, girl, you got a man that's in prison. You seem to be continuing the pattern. Girl, why do you why are you talking to jailbirds? Like, it's hard enough protecting girls growing up and then protecting black girls, i.e., don't even let me point to the R. Kelly series and all the girls that was being sexually molested and exploited and nobody cared because they were black girls. All the things you can't just have anybody around their kids. And I know there are things that we cannot control. It's just like dealing with racism every day. We cannot control it. Everything. But the things we can, we need to do better on. So anyway, she's married this man and she's never slept with him, but apparently she felt his penis when she went to go say hey and take a picture with him. Anyway, so she has a business. She built up a tax accounting business. Now, personally, me, I would not go to her for business. One, because she's on this show, but also because she was walking around looking like she could start in another reality show, perhaps one called Magic City, The Afterlife. Um, of a stripper past the age of 28 or something in their 30s because she definitely looked like a stripper. She was given that kind of stripper. I have no idea how to get myself to look presentable. And so were a lot of her coworkers. Okay, I mean, strippers are known to have boyfriends in prison. Anyway, so she calls a meeting with her team of workers at this so-called accounting firm or whatever it is, and said they now have two bosses, her and her prison husband. I'd be damned if I take orders from a man who is in prison for drug distribution while I'm supposed to be somebody's accountant and consultant for U.S. taxes. That already sounds conflicting. Have a prisoner and y'all deal with the IRS. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Okay. All right. So unless his name is Bernie Madoff or Larry Hoover, I do not understand why in the hell. This is not like somebody who was your boss before they went to prison, like some big drug lord or some other schemer scammer like Bernie Madoff. Like, do you really expect people just to accept that like it's okay? Apparently she does. All right. They side-eyed her in that meeting and she is very unprofessional. You can tell she is rude and disrespectful. And that bodycon dress she got off somebody's rainbow clearance rack, I was not here for it. Okay? But anybody who likes to remind you that I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, if you have to say that over and over again to your team of 4 people, you are insecure and you really aren't a boss. Okay? So she expects us to really take her seriously as a businesswoman with that 3rd grade 3-time drawing on the marker board in the back. What the hell was that shit? All right? Her employees are not feeling it. They're trying to figure out why she is falling for this jail talk. And I think that's a good question. So Letitia says, well, she thought, the meeting, they were kind of like, up in their feelings or whatever. So she was taking out her employees / friends. They kind of look like extroverts too, except for the one who was not feeling the jail stuff, and she was like, we shouldn't be getting clients from jail. That one, but the rest of them, the way they had their blazers with their breath, it just looked it was given, you might need to go through a program called Dress to Success. But anyway, so, Letitia takes him out for drinks, even though Letitia is like the main one drinking. And basically because she told him they'll be taking orders from a prisoner. Apparently one of the other employees, the girl that wasn't feeling them from the beginning, brings it up at the bar and goes, did you know, whatever her name is, she used to talk to Curate. I died. I guess she said, I ain't about to be taking no orders from no prisoner. And you know what? This is the fucked up situation. Let's just go ahead and put it out there. And she was like, you asked my husband? I was like, girl, this is... First of all, the fact that y'all even have circles running like that tells me you just giving stripper. You are. I'm sorry. Nope. You got to do a better job impersonating. All right, so let me get Andy and Brittany. I hope this doesn't end up being one of them storylines. We just don't understand why. So Andy was a police officer for 13 years. Well, you know what? Considering what the police do in terms of murdering African Americans and treating us like target practice and just making a complete sport out of belittling us. I'm not here for police like that. So I'm watching you, okay? So his friend brings up how they were trained to avoid inmate love. Okay, they are going to a donut shop. Andy's a former cop. His friend is a cop because his friend wants us to know because he's wearing his vest that says police. But like for somebody who, if you're wearing a vest like that, I'm gonna need you to be on duty, like actually doing something, not going to a donut shop. That cannot be more stereotypical and problematic. All right. Anyway, so he's talking about how he met Brittany on a website. Brittany is an addict and was charged with possession. So his friend starts talking about, well, let's talk about the financial gain. What has she gotten from you? How much money have you given her? And he was like, maybe about $6,000. I don't know over the course of time what that means. Then he tells us this sad story because it is a sad story. His wife left him. His wife was also a drug addict and moved in with another man who was a drug addict, and he ended up getting custody of all of their children. And I'm pretty sure if she was a drug addict, she probably didn't fight that hard for her kids. But that was just kind of a sad thing to hear, and it's just one of those things that I'm just like, why are y'all putting this on TV? Once again, whether it's the father or not, you have teenage kids, as we saw with his son, who was asking him, "Do you just have a fetish for prisoners?" And he was like, "Yeah." Like, why would you subject your underage kids to this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for that. And he's the only person who approves the camera stuff because if he has full custody, he doesn't have to go through his wife. So his friend is at the donut shop, okay? And he starts looking up this girl's record. First of all, he's looking up her cohabitant. She said, he's like, well, she's cohabitated with 25 males. And I'm sitting here like, it should be illegal for police to manipulate those sources. And by manipulate, what I mean is use them for personal information, then read it out loud to a private citizen, because Andy is no longer a police officer, out loud at a donut shop, and to give his friend essentially all the background information that he has not looked up. That, not cool. Not cool, sir. Not cool. All right, but police are corrupt anyway. I don't know why I was expecting anything better. So his friend was it just me or was his friend giving real cock blocking energy? Like, everybody else, like, yeah, they was giving warnings, but they were giving like legitimate warnings. Something to me is just like he doesn't get a lot of women, and he don't want his friend Andy to. All right. But another one with kids, like, and y'all keep bringing out these crazy people around. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, this was fun though. I like this episode, so I'm looking forward to the season. I will talk to y'all soon.